Never beaten Steve in a race. I'm not sure, maybe they will correct me on that, but it's almost written in his contract that he's got to finish second no matter where Steve finishes. But a good race.
David Sharpe, the 20-year-old world junior champion a couple of years ago over 800 metres, is ensuring that the early pace is going to be a long way off what is required to get close to Seb Coe's record. But I would think this distance for Steve Cram and the others, Steve Ovett, I think your best was some way back now, around about 2 minutes 15. It must be a killer distance, coming as it does right between 800 and 1500.
It's a tough distance, because if it's run very hard, it can be a tough race. But as we're seeing here, it's a fairly slow race. David Sharpe, that is, I should say, has gone to the front, because I think he realises that you're going to be in the back of this field, you're going to get pushed and shoved and whatever, and it's best to be out front. But at this type of race, it normally degenerates into who's the fastest 400-metre man. And at the moment, as we heard from Steve in the interview, he's perhaps is not as sharp as he'd like to be, but I think he still perhaps has got the speed over these boys anyway.
33 seconds for the first 200 compared to just over 25 when Steve Cram had a tilt at that world best back in Gateshead a couple of years ago. So clearly Steve Cram has come here to test out his finishing speed. He's not really that concerned about the time. He just wants to see how good he is over the final 200. On the inside, David Sharpe. Right next to him, wearing number 2, is Tony Morrell. Wearing number 1, Steve Cram. All three of them from the northeast. Lewis Johnson, the American, wearing number 5. Terence Harrington wearing number 4. And number 6 is Richard Martinez. They're coming up to the bell. Morrell takes over the lead. And now we'll see a race, Steve.
Yes, I think it had to be a last lap, didn't it? And now we're going to see who's got the fastest 400 metres at the moment. As I say, Steve, I don't think would enter this race unless he thought his quarter speed was good, and I think he should be the man to watch.
1:38 at the bell. Morrell goes in front. Had a good indoor season, Tony Morrell, and one of the crop of people looking for places on the plane to Seoul. Cram in second. Terence Harrington, the 21-year-old American, looking good. Sharpe feeling the pace. Cram shoulder to shoulder with Morrell, and Morrell's not going to let him have his own way. Remember, in Rome, it was Cram's finishing speed that let him down against Abdi-Fili in the World Championship final. But look at Sharpe, who's extricated himself from a very poor position, and he's challenging. And the three Geordies in a line, and Sharpe it is who wins it. Cram second, Morrell third. Well, if it's in his contract, he's in trouble, because he's beaten Steve Cram, and they may have to review the contract.
Well, it was a very slow time there, 2:27.66, but Sharpe ran the last 400 metres in about 49.2.